Welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice, because today is another edition of Terrifying Tuesdays, in which I'll review some of the horror movies in the collection of movies and stuff that my father left me. And today I'm working on, I viewed a movie from this collection, the Heroes of Horror collection, starring Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. This one was called The Invisible Ghost. And just to do a, let's read what it says here. It says, Invisible Ghost, starring Bela Lugosi, Betty Compson, and John Maguire. A doctor, Lugosi, unwillingly commits a series of ghastly murders while hypnotized by the ghost of his dead wife. After an innocent man is executed, the man's twin brother and the doc's daughter team up to uncover the true killer. Okay. And this movie came out in, I think it's 41 or 42. So, this, as you can tell by what was read, was kind of an interesting concept, because you know who's committing the murders as we go along. The story behind this is, you have Boris Karloff, a kind of a well-to-do doctor, as they all are in most of these movies, who, at the very beginning, you see him having dinner with his wife to celebrate his anniversary, but there's nobody at the other end of the table, and his butler is just sort of playing along to amuse him. And this happens every year, because his wife had left him, and she was having an affair, and they had left in a car at one point, and there was a car crash, and everyone presumes that the wife is dead. And so he's, Bela Lugosi is just kind of, every, anniversary, he sort of does that, and, everyone just kind of plays along with it. But his daughter's a little worried that he's just, going a little nutso. And so she's got her, fiance, and, she's talking to him about it, and there is a new cook on staff, kind of this pretty little blonde, and it turns out that she and the fiance had been dating beforehand, and he hadn't really given a rat's tuchus about her, and she had taken the job to try and get closer to him, because he wanted to take him back. They argue, a couple people see them arguing, and she winds up getting killed. And there had been a series of murders before that as well, and they all kind of took place in the house. So, other than a couple of scenes outside, this is all inside the doctor's house, and it's kind of a, you've heard of a locked door mystery, sort of like, Ten Little Indians. Someone's doing the killing, but you aren't supposed to know who. But even though, in fact, in this movie, we know who's doing it. It's just the other people don't know how it's being done. And the wife is actually still alive. The gardener had found her, and he's kind of nursing her back to health to try and, so she can go back. She had lost her memory. And he was going to bring her back until he realized that, if he brought her back, people might think that he was doing the murders. And she keeps, don't want to give away too much of the plot. But the boyfriend, the ex-girlfriend is one of the people who are killed, and then he winds up, the fiance winds up getting charged, tried, convicted, and then electrocuted for the crime of murdering that woman. Wrongly, of course. And then the guy's identical twin brother, played by the same actor, shows up to and kind of talk to them about it because he wasn't in the country for the funeral, and they decide to try and investigate what's happening. And the movie is kind of campy in the sense that you've got Bela Lugosi being Bela Lugosi, and he's up, when he's being the hypnotized state. I don't know. Many of you have seen his Dracula. You've when he was hypnotizing somebody, he's always, and that was him being hypnotized. Operating under the hypnotized section of where he committed the murders. He was acting hypnotized the same way that he, hypnotized people in his Dracula movie. And he had the deliberate vocal patterns like he did in the Dracula movie. Because he had that thick Romanian accent. So it was kind of, he has this, interesting speech pattern and, way he operates and, acting when he's that. But it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, you know what's going on, but the way it's done, it was interesting, because the people are like, how are the people getting out of the house? And it seems like nobody seemed to figure out that, hey, maybe it's somebody here. They always thought it was somebody who was like breaking in to commit the murders, and you're like, dude, no. But you have the homicide lieutenant who's coming in to do, every time someone dies, he's coming and he's got this big cigar in his mouth the whole time. And it's kind of funny to see someone investigating a murder with this big, cigar in his mouth. But it was, aside from a little bit of flawed logic that it couldn't have been somebody inside, but they operated under kind of a logical way of doing it if they thought that it was somebody on the outside. And one of my favorite things about this is, usually in a movie like this, they have a young, attractive female, like it would be like the doctor's daughter in this one or any other movie, or a female protagonist, back from anywhere from the 30s on. she has to wind up with the guy that they'll fall in love and wind up either getting married in the movie or they're gonna be like right after the movie. I don't think I'm ruining anything in this one to say that this doesn't happen. So that was a kind of a rarity in this sense, is that she started out that way, but then at the end she's not lovelorn and I'm gonna marry this guy after knowing him for 10 minutes. But it wasn't bad for a one of these old movies. It wasn't as anywhere near as good as the say like the that cry the what was that called anyway? Scream of Fear from a while ago, but it was close to being that good. So I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 because it had the kind of a really moody atmosphere. It was shot really well. The acting was good. Just a couple of little couple of things is like, dude, how can they not think of this? But I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 just because it was well done. It was a couple of funny moments. No, incredibly stupid parts of it. The writing was good, and so I'm gonna recommend it. And especially if you like Bela Lugosi, this would be a good one. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. And I think you might be able to catch it on Prime, because I looked it up and I think it's streaming on Prime. But anyway, let me know if you watched it. Let me know what you thought of it if you did. And don't forget to tune into my Friday, Five for Fridays movies. And I already know which one it is for this week, and that would be Maxine, which is a review. Maxine is the third in a trilogy of X, Pearl, and then Maxine. So, like, subscribe, possibly share, and most of all, enjoy your horror movies.